Nick Gallo, OKCThunder.com. Josh, just what kind of mental toughness did it take for you guys to kind of gut this one out with as many lead changes and ties as there were throughout the game?
Yeah, obviously, we've been in this situation a fair few times this year, especially recently. I think we've learned from kind of those games, how to execute down the stretch, on both ends of the floor. And obviously, we knew that we're going to go to DeRozan and Levine down the stretch, and I think we did a good job of keeping our primary defenders on them, making them take and make some tough shots. And at the end of the day, you live with the result. If you're making teams make shots over a hand and like they were, you tip your hat. But we got some stops, big stops down the stretch, and closed that game out.
And then on the other side of the floor, it seemed like, particularly compared to Wednesday, you all really kept the foot on the gas in terms of your pace and your tempo. What did you like best about just how you closed the game offensively?
Yeah, Coach was preaching that. I think when it gets down the stretch, teams seem to hold the ball and kind of milk the clock a little bit. But he kind of emphasized at the end of regulation that we still want to play with pace, get it up the floor, make them guard us. And I think we did that. We played fast, made them guard us in the full court and the half court. So that was an advantage for us. We executed that down the stretch, and then when it got into the half court, I think we did a really good job of getting to spots, running the stuff we wanted to run. We finished looks and took care of it on the other end.
Mark said that this was one of your better defensive performances of the year. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, down the stretch, I think they were trying to put me and Shea in action with DeRozan and Levine, but we wanted to try and keep we've got Lou, who's one of the best defenders in the league, on the ball, and just showing, allowing him a little bit of time to get back in front. But I think overall, weak side, boxing out, things that I've been trying to get better at. Especially looking at film on that from previous games. I think I kind of wanted to put an emphasis on it this game. Obviously, first half struggled offensively, and then trying to find another way to impact the game. So tried to do it on that side of the floor, whether it was blocking out, rebounding, starting the break, just little things like that.
You did get your offense going late. What worked for you? How'd you figure that out?
Yeah, obviously, Shea was drawing a lot of attention, so Coach put the ball in my hands and made him a screener. They weren't going to leave him, so allowed me to get downhill. I stayed aggressive. I was never going to go into my shell after missing 8 shots, 10 shots. Stayed confident and made some plays down the stretch.
When you got down early, but you caught him by the end of the quarter, into the first quarter, what accounted for the slow start, but then how'd you get it where you caught him at the end?
Yeah, I mean, slow start's kind of been a common theme for us this year. Something we're trying to change and want to change. But, one thing about us is, we never go away. I think we set up, we led the league in 15-point comebacks last year, and that's, it's credit to the way we fight, but it's also, we put ourselves in a position to be down 15. So if we can kind of, finish games the way we, start games the way we finish them, I think it's going to put us in better position, going through the rest of the game. But, credit to the guys. We fought back. We never panicked and, closed it out.
Anybody else? Here we go.
Josh, you talked about having a slow start tonight, but you finished strong with all those rebounds and some clutch buckets. I just wanted to ask you, as the primary facilitator on this team, how do you find the balance between getting your teammates involved and getting them going and then finding your own shot?
Yeah, it's a tough job. Obviously handling the ball, having to organize an offense. But just reading what the defense gives me. I think a few times in overtime they gave me a lane to the rim. I took it, was able to finish, and then other times throughout the game where I tried to get downhill, it got stopped, and just making that extra pass. So we've kind of preached that lately. Moving the ball, passing up a good shot for a great shot. And I think tonight, guys are able to knock down open looks, and it makes our offense, flow better when guys are being unselfish and making the right play.
Anybody else? Thanks, Josh.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Josh.
Got the win, gave up 119, but it didn't really seem like it was a 119 that you guys have been giving up. So what did you think about the defensive performance?
I thought it was good. It was 110 in regulation, which is a good number, especially with the pace we're playing at right now. So on a per possession basis, I think we probably finished out pretty good. I just thought our initial thrust on the point of attack and our initial help was really good tonight, which was great carryover from not only what we talked about coming into this game, but something we've been kind of hammering over the last few days, and the guys did a really good job executing that tonight.
32 free throw attempts. What do you think about the calls you guys were getting?
I just thought we were, as usual, we were really attacking. We played downhill. I thought we made the right passes and the right finishes. I just thought we had our foot on the gas, did a good job of attacking the way they guarded us, got the ball to the paint like we always do.
Mark, second straight overtime game. I know there were some bumpy moments, but just overall thoughts on how you played in those final 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought, the resilience of the group tonight was on full display. It's hard, we want to win the game. The guys really want to win, and competition puts hurdles in front of you that you have to clear. And, we had the play. We're up 6, 4 minutes to go. We throw it to Dort in the pocket. They double Shea, and he tries to shovel it to Jalen Williams. He's wide open on the baseline. Great executions, the right play, and we just botch it out of bounds. The rim interference play, Shea's first 3 of overtime, rims out. There's just these plays where it's well-intentioned and we're on the wrong end of them, and competition is going to force you to kind of overcome those and continue to double down on your identity, and I thought the guys did a great job of that tonight, in the overtime especially.
We've become used to Darius playing pretty good defense out there, but tonight he also had 17 off the bench. Just thoughts on his contributions.
Yeah, great spark. Made those 2 threes. I thought he made the right plays for most of the night on offense. And then defensively, we moved him all around. He was guarding bigs and switching, and then he was a secondary matchup for Levine and DeRozan, which is a weapon. So I thought he did a great job there. They obviously are a great shot fake team. He's one of the best at staying down, not fouling a jump shooter. I thought that was effective tonight for us. So happy for him, off the injury.
Mark, Josh had a slow start to tonight, but really came up big late with some big time plays. What did you see from him?
Resilience, I give him a lot of credit because he's obviously had some bumps here, and he was 2 for 9 at one point in the game, but I thought, the same thing I just said about the team I think applies to him. He stayed very true to his identity as a player tonight. I thought he really defended as well as he's defended this season, or at least lately. And then I thought he was kind of in the right mindset in terms of his passing. He was off it early, made great early passes. And then his offense opened up. They had weak defender on him, or a weaker defender than they did on Shea down the stretch. And he really closed the overtime. I thought the way they were guarding Shea and the way Josh was playing, we started to kind of pump it to him. And he delivered, and ended the game, with a decent line. But the bigger thing for that is there's a lot of ups and downs, and mentally you got to hang in there. And I thought he did a great job of that tonight.
When you see a guy sort of in a slump like he has been, just shooting wise, how much is that on him to kind of just fight through it, or on you guys as the coaching staff to try to set him up differently?
You could look at it as a slump. I look at it as the price you pay for competing. It's competition's hard. The NBA's hard. We're the youngest team in the league. These guys are early in their careers. The stakes are high. They want to do well. They work so hard. This is their lives. And, if you are in competition, it stresses you now. You got to clear hurdles. You got to climb. You get knocked down. And you've got to learn to be comfortable with that struggle. And, I think that's a lesson for the team, so it's less about working them through a slump. It's more about framing that for them as best we can, and supporting them as they continue to fight through, and making sure that their approach stays consistent. And, that was what I thought was most impressive about the team tonight, is the approach, even despite the adversities of the game. We hung in there and we played our basketball, and Josh was certainly a great example of that.
Overtime tonight, you play in 21 hours, second night of it back-to-back. Does this team being young avoid you having to do crazy rotations tomorrow, or minute restrictions, or adjust your rotations, or does this not have an impact on that?
No minute restrictions, I don't think, unless somebody's dealing with something. But young team, and we try to manage the minutes throughout the course of the season in a way that when you get into these situations, back-to-backs, 4 and 6, overtime game, you have the bandwidth to kind of push a little bit. So we'll see where we're at coming out of it, but not overly concerned.
You've talked about how wanting to let them figure it out when you guys get down. First quarter, you get down 21-7, worked out. How tough is that, though, to not call it? You didn't call a timeout tonight. And so how tough is it just not call a timeout, say, especially when they have two guys like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine that can easily get going at any point in the game.
Yeah, sorry to correct you, but I called one. We were down 9-0. I called one early, but it's a good question. The time, like I thought we tried, that was an extension of the game, which is like we know we've been getting off to slow starts. They were focused on getting off to a good start. We played the right way, and we're down 9-0, and they made a couple jump shots, and that can have an outsized impact on your mind when you're focusing on it and it's not going the way you want it to. So the timeout tonight was just simply, hey, we're doing the right stuff. Just hang in there. Like 48-minute game. It's not the start we wanted, but just get the car back on the road. We'll be fine. And that's how I handled tonight. I didn't think our approach tonight to start the game was poor. I just thought they were up 9-0, and I just wanted to remind our guys of that.
How much is a learning experience? Because they took the lead with about 2 minutes to go. Game could have gone the other way. You got it to overtime. You've been in overtime before. How much is this kind of a learning experience for these guys because you've done this before?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in some overtimes. Overtime in Dallas, we got that one. Overtime in Milwaukee, obviously. Denver. I mean, these are veteran teams. These guys have been in these situations. It's a great experience for our guys, and again, competition's hard. These games are close, and sometimes you're on the good end of it. Sometimes you lose. But we just want to have a growth mindset. We want to learn through everything. And we want to, like I said, embrace the adversities of competition. We can't be uncomfortable with that. And I think this particular group, for a young group especially, is very impressive with that. And I thought tonight was a great example of that.
How much does the zone kind of help you get back in it? And did you ever play this much zone? Because you played a lot tonight.
Yeah, I played a lot. Thought it threw their rhythm off. I thought it was good against their second unit. I think mixing that in is a good thing, especially when we're a little bit smaller. And we did it a couple times. They missed some jump shots, and we just kind of hung in there with it. And it stole some possessions for us tonight. It was good.
I mean, what did you say to the team going into the overtime? Because the Bulls, LaVine got hot, brought them back, and they tied up and go to overtime.
A lot of what I say during the game is just to try to ground us back in the present moment. I'm not a big motivational speech guy. It's so hard to stay present in competition because there's so many ups and downs, and your mind can go into the clouds. And I think part of my job in game especially is just to get everybody's feet on the ground. And I don't remember what I said, but that's always the spirit.
No particular strategy then just because it's overtime.
No,
just keep playing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's 5 minutes. I think sometimes it's a possession game down the stretch, and then it's a 5-minute game at that point. And so you got to get yourself back into game flow. So I think the only thing I told him was make sure we continue to run on misses. And we got a miss early. Josh sprayed it to K. Rich. He drove baseline, threw it to Poku, threw to Shea. We got a great look, So I thought we did a really good job of turning the page and getting back into the moment of the situation.
Couple more.
Poku continues to look better across the board. Can you just kind of talk about what he added down the stretch and in overtime tonight?
He's given us rim protection. He's on the glass. I thought he did a really good job on Vucevic. I mean, that them posting him was not an issue tonight, and a lot of that was him doing his work early and being active. And then I think offensively, especially when teams get aggressive with Shea, he's just a great outlet because he's 7 feet and he's a great decision maker. So whether it's on pops or in the pocket, if they're going to put two guys on Shea and they're going to bring the house, so to speak, he's an unbelievable secondary playmaker. And that's when teams play us like that. He's a real weapon. It puts them in a dilemma because they're either, letting Shea do his thing, or they're, letting Poku play 4-on-3. And neither is a great option.
Anyone else? We got one in the back, Riley.
Coach, that was your second car analogy today. Are you a big car guy?
I'm sorry?
Are you a big car guy? That was your second car analogy today.
I'm not a big car guy.
Oh, really?
The guys are big car guys. So
Really?
you can ask them about cars.
Thanks for the information.
Toyota Highlander here. So
I like it.
see ya.